Hello everyone. Okay, thank you for being here this Sunday evening, such a wonderful evening. I wonder if it's raining there in Singapore in your place. Okay, type in the weather currently at your place. Okay, if it's raining, type raining. If it's very sunny, type very sunny. Okay, here in Kuala Lumpur, it is very sunny evening after days of raining. Okay, raining. Oh dear, oh dear. 8 degrees, Gary. Oh my God, that is insane. Okay, so without further ado, okay, I have prepared quite, I would say, quite an outlook. Okay, but before that, okay, let me just share my screen quickly. Okay, of course, the disclaimer. Okay, this content provided is for educational purposes only, and it's not financial advice. It reflects the speaker's views at the time of publication and may not account for your individual risk tolerance, financial situations, or investment goals. Okay, keep that in mind, yeah? All right. Now let's begin our view with dollar Swiss. Okay, dollar Swiss. Okay, as you can see, the major primary trend is up. Okay, so the intermediate trend is fully supporting the daily correction. Okay, and the M15. Okay, this is you're looking at M15 chart. Okay, so M15 is uptrend as well. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, when M15 is uptrend, okay, and all the time frame that we use, daily H1 and M15 is uptrend, okay. So M15 shows the momentum is heavily dominated by buyers. Okay, so in this case, when we have such a presentation, okay, so the only trade that we should look for is longs, okay, because all time frames are aligned upward. Okay, so there are two setups for this. Okay, as you all can see the yellow box there. Okay, so for this chart, I would suggest to go long, okay, when the price break out of the rectangle. So that is 0.80887. Okay, and then your stop loss is the mid BB. Okay, because we expect the price to break out above the rectangle. Okay, so the stop loss is the mid BB or the SMA line. Okay, so TP1 is the first orange line, which is 0.81063. Okay, that line is actually I mark the M15 previous peak. Okay, and then TP2, okay, the darker orange line right at the top there. Okay, that is 0.81194. Okay, that mark the major time frame, the bigger time frame peak. Okay, so your stop loss is the mid BB or the SMA line. Okay, so those were for the outlook of dollar Swiss. Okay, so bullish. Okay, so that is the first setup. Okay, the second setup is we expect the price to retrace to meet BB first before continue with the uptrend. Okay, so this particular setup, you will enter when the price hit the mid BB or the SMA line, which is 0.80800. Okay, so your TP1 is the top, the upper band, the upper band line. Okay, which is at a 0.80968. Okay, and then TP2 is the first orange line, which is the previous peak of the M15, that is 0.81063. Okay, so these are the two setups. Okay, again, let me repeat that. Setup A is that we trade when upon the breakout of the rectangle. Okay, and setup B, the second setup, is when the price retraces to mid BB. Okay, all right, so let's move on to our next pair. Okay, you are looking at euro dollar now. Okay, the yellow box, actually I marked the intermediate the intermediate trend sideway area. Okay, but this is M15 chart, so the price is trending sort of a narrow downtrend. Okay, so euro dollar major trend is down. Okay, so H1, the intermediate trend is rather ranging. Okay, and this downtrend and shorter time frame, that is M15, is downtrend. Okay, so the the translation between this, okay, when you have a major downtrend, intermediate ranging, and short-term downtrend. Okay, so it translated as, okay, intraday momentum breaking down. Okay, it shows that inside H1 range, sellers have taken control and are pushing toward the bottom of that range or initiating a full breakout. Okay, so when we have this case scenario, okay, major downtrend, intermediate ranging, and short-term downtrend, okay, the proper strategy to go is short. Okay, so why we are looking at shorts? Okay, because seller have taken control and pushing toward initiating a full breakout. So that's why we only want to go short. We don't want to take a risk on going for those long, because those long could be temporary. Okay, so you don't want to caught up with a fake uh, short uptrend. Okay. All right, so the strategy, okay, to go about this particular short, okay. So firstly, we will enter when price bounce to meet BB or 1.14199. Okay, as you can see, the current price is in between the mid BB and the lower band line, right? Okay, so we want to wait for the price to bounce towards mid BB here. Okay, so once that once the price hit that or pierce slightly through that MA, that is still acceptable. Okay, so we enter short. Okay, so once we do that, our target, okay, our first target is at 1.3944. Okay, which is the bottom of that rectangle. Okay, and then your second TP is that orange line at the bottom of the chart. Okay, so that is actually major trend support, which is 1.13747. Okay, so stop loss. Okay, stop loss is above the top BB, or you can use this number 1.14406. Okay, so those were my outlook on euro dollar, which is it is an obvious coming down. Okay, all right, moving on to our next pair is dollar yen. Okay, here it is dollar yen. Okay, for the case of dollar yen pair, the major trend is up. Okay, the intermediate trend is down. Okay, and the short-term time frame is actually doing a bit of ranging here or sideways. Okay, so in this case, when we have major uptrend, intermediate downtrend, okay, and short-term time frame is pausing, okay, it tried to prove that with this ranging, okay, so the correction of that intermediate downtrend is out of steam. Okay, it could come to an end. Okay, so in this case, I wanting to go for long. Okay, so we are using Bollinger Band. I want you to ignore those Fibonacci that I place. Okay, that I will come to visit later. Okay, so now let's focus trading with just Bollinger Band. Okay, with the current price in between the mid BB and the lower band. Okay, so we will enter for long, okay, once price pull back down from the M15 mid BB or 161.679. Eh? Sorry, this is pound dollar. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, euro dollar, yes. Okay. Euro dollar, let me read that out again. Okay, euro dollar daily downtrend, intermediate ranging, and intermediate downtrend. Okay, so highly likely, okay, this price gonna continue downwards. Okay, so major trend being downtrend, meaning it is heavily bearish. Okay, intermediate being ranging, okay, being ranging represents a medium term pause or distribution phase. Okay, sellers are resting at the moment, okay, and the market is moving sideways to build energy. Okay, so for short-term downtrend, okay, it represents that intraday momentum breaking down. Okay, it shows that inside H1 ranging, sellers have taken control and are pushing toward the bottom of that range or initiating a full breakout. Okay, so in this case, we wanna look for short. Okay, reason being sellers have taken control and are pushing toward initiating a full breakout. So we anticipate highly likely that short is the only way to go because of uh, the price pattern in daily, intermediate, and short term. Okay, so for you to do that, okay, we will enter once price bounce to meet BB or 1.14199. $1.14. No, that is the stop loss. Sorry. That is the stop loss. Okay. All right. Okay. So enter when price bounce to meet BB here. Okay. And then TP1 is 1.3. No, I got the price all mixed up. Damn, I'm gonna come back to that, okay, for euro dollar. I'm so sorry. Silly me. Okay, so let's move on to dollar yen first, okay? Dollar yen first. Okay, dollar yen, major trend uptrend, intermediate downtrend, M15 is M15 is pause uptrend, okay, because price is in between the mid BB and the upper band, okay. So the trade that we should be taking, okay, I would suggest strongly for long. Okay, but we want to wait for the lower time frames to confirm the turn. Okay, so the enterprise, okay, you will enter for long, okay, when price pull back down on the N15 mid BB, okay, which is 161.679. Okay, so this area. Okay, and then you come down a bit, then we enter long. Okay, so your first TP is the upper band or 161.932. Okay, and then TP2, okay, TP2 is the daily upper band line, which is 162.921. Okay, and your stop loss is the lower band or 161.365. Okay, so those were the setup that I would suggest when the price uh, trigger the long entry. Okay, so those were dollar yen. Okay, next let's move on to Aussie dollar. No, okay, let me open my MT4 for Aussie dollar. Let me just share my screen. Okay, so this is Aussie dollar daily. M15. Sorry, no, H1. Okay, so this is intermediate trend is up. M15 is upward as well. Okay, so for daily, it is a very obvious long-term uptrend bias, bullish. Okay, so intermediate trend. Okay, intermediate trend, the price just pierced above the intermediate mid BB, signaling that downward correction is likely ending and a bullish reversal is starting. Okay, so this is M15. The short-term momentum has officially shifted bullish. Okay, the price is resting at the upper half, no, at the lower half of the BB, showing that the buyers are actively controlling the intraday price action. Okay, so in this case, okay, because overall the trend, the structure, okay, is an uptrend. Okay, so the strategy, the trading strategy that I would suggest for this is long. Okay, so why long? Because primary D1 trend is bullish and the price is at major support. Okay, so now what we do is that we wait for M50 to confirm the turn. Okay, because current M15 price is at lower BB, right? Lower band area. Okay, so we want it to close above the mid BB for this bullish trend to continue. Okay, so for that, that being said, okay, so the long entry will be triggered only when price pierces through the mid BB and retest. Okay, or the level to go in is 0.69539. Okay, it pierces or it hit the mid BB. Okay, or you can wait at the number of 0.69539. Okay, so your TP1, when that long triggered at the mid BB, okay, your first TP is the intermediate upper band, okay, not this M15 upper band, yeah. Intermediate means our H1, okay. H1 upper band is at 0.69635. Okay, so that is TP1, and TP2 at 0.70612, which is the major upper band level. Okay, and stop loss. Okay, stop loss we use M15 lower band line. Okay, which is at 0.69456. Okay, so those were the outlook for Aussie dollar. Okay, next, moving on to our next pair, which is Kiwi dollar. Okay, Kiwi dollar. Okay, I want you to ignore all these notes first, okay, and just listen to what I'm going to say here. Okay, overall, our major trend for Kiwi dollar is down. Okay, the intermediate trend for Kiwi dollar is uptrend. Okay, and the short-term time frame price is downtrend. Okay, because it is in the bearish area of the band. Okay, so long-term downtrend, obviously it is heavily bearish. Okay, sellers dominate the big picture. Okay, for intermediate term, uptrend was a counter trend correction against the daily trend. Okay, but it is now on live support. Okay, why it is on live support? Because price hitting at the H1 lower band means it is testing the absolute floor of its upward correction. Okay, so for 15-minute charts, what you're looking at now, okay, this yellow rectangle is an area of bottoming consolidation. Okay, so the sellers are taking a rest. Okay, so that being said, there could be two possible trade here. Okay, let me switch my screen. Okay, so Kiwi dollar. Okay, so this is the first setup. Okay, there could be short. Okay, why it is short? Okay, because it is rectangle. So being in a rectangle, meaning the bull and bear is in a fair fight, in a constant fight, right? So we will only know who win by looking at which direction the price breakout. Okay, so in this particular chart, I'm suggesting short if the price break below the rectangle. Okay, so should the price break below the rectangle, so your EP is 0.57611. Okay, your first TP is the lower band line, which is 0.57569. Okay, and your TP2 is the intermediate support, which is 0.57479. Okay, so this is if we're going short, and the stop loss will be your mid BB. Okay, or it is at 0.57658. Okay, so this is you'll be taking a short if, let's say, the price break below the rectangle. Okay, now the second setup for Kiwi dollar is long. Okay, so should the price break above the rectangle, then it will trigger a long trading. Okay, so for long trading, you will enter when price breakout and retest, okay, at 0.57642. Okay, with your first TP is the upper band line, which coincide or confluence with the previous peak at 0.57752. Okay, and that TP2 for this particular long position would be the intermediate peak, which is 0.57872. Okay, and your stop loss. Okay, I didn't want to take the lower band as the stop loss, okay, because I don't want it to incur such a huge loss. Okay, if it is really going up, it's not going to come back and test the previous demand level, which is at 0.57598. Okay, so remember there are two possible setup here for Kiwi dollar. Okay, one is long, and the first one I mentioned earlier is short. We'll see where the price will break out. Where will they be heading? Okay, so that is for Kiwi dollar. Right, let me shift back to MT4.
Anisah, you are on mute.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me? Okay, good. Sorry, Paul. All right, okay, so let's continue. Okay, so euro dollar. Okay, so euro dollar. Okay, we shall enter for short when price come or bounce to mid BB. Okay, so or enter at 1.1499. Okay, so it's about there. All right, so It doesn't have to be exactly hit BB. If it's pierced through a little bit, yes, we can still enter. Okay. So we enter short once the price come up here. Okay, then your target price, okay, your first target price for short is 1.13944, which is about here, the bottom of that rectangle. Okay, and the second TP is 1.13747, which is the major. Here goes. This one, okay? So which is the major support, okay? So that is 1.3747. Okay, so TP1 here, TP2 here. Okay, and for going short, your stop loss is placed above, right? Okay, I picked the top BB, which is 1.14406. Okay, you don't want to set exactly at the top of BB, so I want to place it above the top BB. So that's why it's 1.14406. Okay, so that is my outlook for euro dollar. Okay, euro dollar short, short, short. Okay, you do not go for the short term rebound, the buy thingy. Okay, don't do that. Okay, there's no option on this particular pair. All right, so I've completed my today's outlook. Is there any other chart that you want me to look at? Okay, type in the chat box. Any other pair? Gold. Ray, sorry. How do you determine TP and stop loss? Okay, Ray, basically my TP and stop loss, okay, is either the top BB or the lower BB. Okay, the upper band line or the lower band line. Okay, so those lower band and upper band, okay, so TP1 is the time frame that you trade. Okay, the second TP, I always take the band line on the higher time frame. Okay, like H1, your intermediate trend or the daily trend. The orange horizontals is I mark in the daily or in the intermediate. So when I trade, it appears on my trading time frame chart. Okay, when placing that line, okay, let me show you how to make it appear in all time frame. Okay, for example, okay, let's go to H4. Okay, if let's say I add a line here, let me change color so that I don't get confused. Okay, let's use purple. Okay, so on visualization, okay, you make sure the show on all time frames is ticked. Okay, so with that, whichever time frames you view, it will appear. Look at that, monthly, H4, or even M1, but M1 will be there. Okay? All right. So that's how you, that's the orange line is for. Okay, Ray? Okay, gold. Let's look at gold. Sure. Okay, so firstly, we look at daily. Let me clear all this. Okay, so for gold, it is still an obvious downtrend. Okay, and that downtrend has picked up more momentum because it has gone steeper. Okay, now that this is sorry, intermediate trend H1. Okay, H1 is always my intermediate time frame. Okay, so my major time frame is daily. Okay, so daily is super good downtrend. Okay, and the price is obviously remain in the bearish area of the Bollinger Band. Okay, so that is strong, confirm, heavily bearish. Okay, so these are for the uh, major time frame. Okay, intermediate downtrend as well. Okay, and has just picked up more momentum. Okay, now my trading time frame is M15. Okay, so for M15, it is still overall downtrend. Okay, but has a bit of uptrend here. Okay, meaning structure wise, it's tried to make an uptrend. Okay, so this particular bar candle here, okay, has closed above, but not the whole body. Okay, so this whole body is the whole momentum. Okay, so that tip of the iceberg only closed above. So it's not a strong bullish indicator, even though it has made a higher high structure. Okay, so in this case, okay, so what we want to do is that to wait for the price to come back to the mid BB and pierce into the bearish area. Okay, if it does that, okay, then it will, that is the indication that the downtrend, the short-term downtrend will resume. Okay, if let's say this breakout, then buyer will try to make an attempt to make a new high for the bigger time frame. Okay, so in this case, okay, to look for uh the target price, yeah. Okay, so this looks like a double bottom, or actually, okay, or this is actually a head, inverted head and shoulder. Okay, so for inverted head and shoulder, we measure the height of from the neckline to the base. Okay, and then what we do is that we place it where it's breakout. Okay, so the breakout is here, which is 4140.52. Okay, if it fail, if there's no momentum candles that after these candles that, you know, that trade above this pink line with, let me mark that as A. Okay, this A line. Okay, the candle need to break out and close above the A line. Okay, so then it will continue towards 4140.52. Okay, or else if let's say this is temporary or just a fake out, okay, it comes back in and then close below the mid BB or the baseline of this head and shoulder. Okay, so then it will go downwards instead. Okay, so downwards means your target will be 4076.97. Okay, so that is my outlook on gold. Okay, the shortest, the M15 time frame tried to make a new high. Okay, so this could be the first signal of intermediate trend is reversing. Okay, so that will only find out tomorrow. We'll see what's the price going to be like. Okay, so you have your target, yeah, either it's upward or it's going to continue downtrend. Okay, Stephen, I hope. How to get the BB on the chart? Okay, Ray. How to get the BB on the chart is by this. Okay, let me clean everything up first. Okay, so to get the BB, here, let me. Okay, so first on the top row menu, okay, you go insert, okay, and then you go indicators, okay, and then you go trend, and then you select Bollinger Band. Okay, once you do that, let me repeat that slowly, okay? Again, we go to insert, click on insert, okay, and then select indicator, okay, and then we go to trend and select Bollinger Band. Okay, so once you do that, this menu will pop up. Okay, the period is 20, the deviation is 2, shift remains 0. Okay, this is the default setting. You do not change anything. I do not change anything. Okay, and the color you can change according to your likings. Okay, in this case, I picked teal because I want it to be, really visible. Then you just click OK. There you go. That's your BB. Okay? Okay, Ray, I hope that helps. Okay, great. All right. Okay. So, Annie, one last chart. Okay, before we end our session, one last chart. Anyone? No? Okay, if not, I have one question. Who, from all of you that is listening to this particular Sunday market update now, is actually have registered has subscribed to the Trader Zone? Reply 1 if you have, and reply 2 if you have not. Okay, the Trader Zone in it's a channel, okay, in Telegram app, okay, where those coaches share their charts. Okay, for the rest of you, okay, who have subscribed or already in the group, please type 1. Who have not, please type 2. Cleon 2, Grace 2. Okay, Kuriakose to Gary. Okay, thank you, Gary. Okay, so anyway, for those who have not, please find out from ATW how you can join those support channel. Okay, as actually it is me sharing the charts. Okay, so those charts that you get today, I have shared in the Trader Zone first. Okay, so if you want early information, okay, so those are the channels that you wanna go and subscribe. Okay, but find out from the ATW if you're eligible to subscribe. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Ismail too also. Okay, you can find out. Go and find out from ATW. Okay, if you are eligible to subscribe for the Trader Zone channel. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a very good evening. Bye bye.